Hello and welcome to week 5 of CIT 225. I'm still Brother Stevic, and I'm sitting here in my Star Destroyer. And I'm here to talk to you today about DDL commands, your basic creates, drops, modifies, and alters. I got some good feedback last week about going over the lab, so I'm going to go over the lab with you, the 10 steps in lab, and then I will show you some sample code and show you the code that we'll be looking for you to create this week. So let me go ahead and share the screen out here. I'm going to show you what we're talking about. Okay, there's it here. Okay. So here's the first thing we're going to be looking at. That's step 3. Step 1. Step 1. Using the following ERD, write a query known as a select query that returns a unique system ID value. Well, I'm not going to finish reading this because this should be old hat to you guys at this point. This is just asking for a simple select query off of the system user table using the distinct modifier to return a single value of where the system username is DBA1. Step number 2 is the exact same thing, except they're adding a new column. It now wants to use system user ID and system user name, where the value is DBA1. It is a single select query, no joins, no nothing complicated. Now this one gets a little more complicated. Using the following ERD, write a query that returns the system user ID and system user name columns from 2 copies of the system user table, where the first copy of system user table is given SU1 alias and the second copy is given SU2 alias. Tables and view aliases are useful. Okay, we're into in a second. We're going to skip that and go to what they want you to do. You will return the system user ID and system user name column values from 2 copies of the same table. You must assign the different column aliases because 2 copies of the same column can't coexist in the same select list. So what you're looking at here, okay, is you're going to join the same table to itself. So you're going to I don't have sample code for this, so this is not super difficult. What you're going to do is you're going to join system user to itself on the created. So I'm going to walk you through this. Is make it easy for you. Join system user to system user, and the join is going to be on the created by column for the first copy of system user to the system user ID on the second copy of system user. Okay. And that will get you the answers you're looking for. And you're going to put a where in there. Look here. Okay. So this is the tricky one. Those are the hints I'm going to give you. Go on from there. See how well you do. And as always, do your best. And if you don't quite get it, give me what you got, and I will give you some hints to fix it and resubmit. Let me take a sidebar here for a second. I want to reiterate this. My late work policy is I want you to turn your work in. I want you to do good in this class. I want you to get the point across. I want you to understand what we're doing here. So if you're late with stuff, that's totally fine. If you ever get something wrong, I'll give you the chance to correct it and give it back to me. Okay. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of these things, because then you'll be able to make sure you're getting this stuff right and get the best grade you can in this class. Okay, let's go on to step 4 here. It's the same thing. You're going to you're joining system user to itself and returning and now you're returning, oops, I want to see a Word document here. System user ID, system user name, created by system. Okay, so again, you're joining for numbers 4 and 5. You're joining system user to itself 2 to 3 times, and then making your select statements off of there. I'm going to jump down to our crates, okay? Because we've already done enough joins. I think you'll be able to get those. So here in step 6, you're creating a table. You're creating a table called rating agency. They say here before you run any kind of create command to drop the existing table to make sure it isn't there. That's totally fine. If you run drop table rating agency without anything being there, you're going to get an error. Okay, so here you're going to be creating a table and you have the following things, and we'll go over these in the code. I'll show you some code. You're going to create a primary key. So what a primary key is, if we haven't touched on this before, a primary key is the column in the table that must be unique, and that is the default index that the table uses on any query. A unique, so then you're also going to create a unique constraint. A unique constraint is exactly what it sounds like. It means you cannot put a duplicate value into that column. Now, primary key is unique by default, but you can name any other column unique as well to make sure there's no duplicate information. In this case, you're doing ratings, movie ratings like PG, PG-13, whatever it's going to be. So you don't want duplicates of those. A foreign key constraint is making sure that the values going into your table exist somewhere else and that they're correct. In this case, you're going to do a foreign key to the system user table to make sure that the person who created these rows should have done it. And then you've got a not null constraint, and a not null constraint just basically says you can't put nulls in this column. That's pretty easy. So you're going to create a table called rating agency. There's going to be a column called rating agency ID, and it's going to have a primary key. A column called rating agency abbreviation, and it's going to have a unique key on that one. And then you're going to have 2 foreign keys on the created by and last updated by columns, and they're going to go back to the system user table, system user ID, and then everything else is going to have a not null modifier on it, so nothing can be null. So this is what you're looking at creating when it's done. So rating agency ID is going to be number. Rating agency abbreviation is going to be varchar4. Rating agency name is going to be varchar40. Created by is going to be number, then date, then number, then date. Okay. Then you're going to create a sequence. And like I said before, a sequence is just an automatic numbering tool for your tables. That way you'll always have numbers that are in sequence and never miss it. So create sequence, rating agency S1, start with the number 1000, increment by 1. Those can be anything you want, by the way. It can be start with 1, increment by 1. It can be start with 1, increment by 12. However you want to play it. That's entirely up to you. So they gave you the code for the sequence here. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to write insert statements. In step 7, you're going to write insert statements into the new table. Row 1 is going to be the rating agency, S1, the next value from your sequence. It's going to be, the name is going to be ESRB, the agency name, Entertainment Software Rating Board. And then here, you're going to write a subquery, and I'm going to show you how this works, in your statement to get the system username where it's equal to DBA2. So you're going to get the ID from system user, where name is equal to DBA2, and put that into the table. So we're going to take a look at the insert statements. Okay. Step 8, you're going to create another table called rating. Okay. You have a primary key, a unique key, 2 foreign keys, and the not null constraints. And now you're going to notice that your foreign keys are actually going to link rating to rating agency. So you're going to actually you're going to link the 2 tables that you have. Okay. And then, you guessed it, create the sequence. And then you're going to run inserts into the rating table. They've given you the ratings here. So you just have to copy and paste these to see the rating table. You don't have to write them. There's quite a few. Okay. Step 9. We're going to update the table. Okay, we're going to update the table. This is not the code that you need to. This is just showing you how to write the update query, and I'm going to show you some code in a second that does it for you. Okay, but you're going to update. You're going to add the rating ID column to the table. Okay. You're going to write an alter statement and add rating ID to the item table. And then you're going to write a query, an update query, to bring the value over from the rating table. Okay. So it should add the new rating column to the items table. After adding the rating ID column to the items table, you should write an update statement to populate the rating ID column with the correct foreign key values. You can use the correlated update statements to update the rating ID columns below. Correlated update statement. So here you're going to look in here. Okay. Let's check my notes off to the side here. So all you're doing is you're writing a update the table, which will be item, set rating ID equal to, select rating ID from rating, where let me back up a second here and show you something that happened in these. So you're doing all these inserts in here into insert into ratings, but then you've got 4 update statements here. So you're updating the items table. You're setting item rating to E, T, M, or PG-13, where the item rating is currently everyone teen, mature, and PG-13. Okay, so you're doing some update statements over on the item table, and there's a reason for this. So what this is asking you to do here, so you've already got an item rating column in the items table. What we're doing now is we're going to replace that column with a foreign key column to the ratings table. So what we have to do is we have to add a new column to the ratings table, to the items table rather, for rating ID. And then we have to write an update query that's going to update the that column in the items table to match what's in the ratings table. So here, I'm gonna read it out to you. I'm gonna tell you how to write it. So just follow along, and then if you do what I say, you're gonna get it. Okay. So it's gonna update the items table as, we can call it T1. Then we're going to set T1 dot rating ID equal to, and now we're going to do a substring. We're going to select the rating ID from rating as T2, where, and then we're going to join the two. So we're going to where the natural key column, which will be the the rating column from rating will equal the item rating from items. So you're returning the ID from ratings, where rating from the rating table equals the item rating for the items table. Okay. It's a little complicated. You'll get this. Play with it. You'll figure it out. And if you don't, like I said, submit what you got, and I will give you hints on how to fix it. Okay. The end result with this, when it's done, is you're going to drop the items rating column from the items table. Okay. So then, step 10, you're writing a massive join. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 join statements in this one. Okay. So a lot of this you've done already. Some of the stuff is new. So let me go ahead and show you guys some code on how to get this done. And then I will leave you your own devices. And I look forward to seeing your work in a couple days. So let me change what I'm sharing and change to this here. Okay. So first, let's take this here. Let's look at this. I'm creating different tables here. Okay. I'm gonna create a table called My Rental. It's gonna have My Rental ID. It's gonna be number. Rental title, varchar 150, and there's my not null constraint. So a couple of things about this code here. Notice that the commas are here in front and not here at the end. There's a reason for that. If for some reason I need to comment out a column, I can go here and do it really quick and not have to readjust where the commas go. Okay. So I want to put the commas in the front. Looks a little silly, but it makes good sense. Okay. Next thing, the not null constraint is created here at the time of table creation. It doesn't want to be down here. You can put it there and fight with it and try to figure a way to do it, and eventually you might, but just put the not null constraint here. So creating My Rental ID, number, rental title, varchar 2 150, constraints, and there's the name of the constraints, and then not null. Rental location, varchar 2, constraint, not null. Created by, creation date, last updated by, last updated date. Constraint, number 1 primary key on rental ID, My Rental ID. Constraint number 2 is a unique constraint on rental location. Constraint number 3 is a foreign key created by references system users. Look how this is worded. Constraint, there's your name of constraint. You name what you want. You can name what you want. Foreign key telling you what kind of constraint it is. Created by, and that's the column in this table that's going to be foreign key. References tell you what table to look for to make sure the information is there. System users the table. System user ID is the column. Right. Then we have our sequence creation. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do these two. Oh, sorry. I didn't do what I told you. I didn't drop anything. Well, at least it shows that I've been testing these things before I actually did them for you. So that's a good thing. Okay, this here. The sequence doesn't exist, but the table exists. So draw table. Table. Rentals. Okay. Let's try this again, shall we? Let's go ahead and take my rentals here and put it here. Okay. The table's created. Let's go ahead and create my sequence. My sequence is created. Now let's go ahead and insert something into here. Now I want you to take a look at this insert statement here, and right over here. And I want to talk about it for a second because I kind of brought this up the other day, or the other week rather. Insert into my rentals, and then I list out the columns here. You do not have to do that. You can get rid of that entire thing, it'll work just fine. However, I do encourage you to always list out the columns here, because when you do that, you'll be able to track any problems. Because let's say, let's play with this. Let me run this here first. Okay, that's great. So let me take this here and let me take away this. Okay, and just run this query. Okay. Oh, well, I gotta do something. Okay. So let's change this to. Let's change this to CA for California. So I'll put this here. Rows created, not a problem. And my specific values aren't there. But let me go ahead and do this. I'm gonna get rid of the CA here, right? So I'm not here. If you look here, rental ID, rental the title, rental location, created by, creation date, less than date, less than date. Okay. My rental ID goes into there. Bring up baby goes into rental title. UT goes into rental location. This query goes into created by. Sys date goes into creation date. This query goes into last updated by, and this sys date goes now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns with seven columns with 7 values going in. I've adjusted this query to where there's 7 columns but 6 values going in. Not enough values. That is a pretty standard error that you will see on insert statements, which means there's not enough in the values that put into the table because there's not null constraints in there. Okay. So keep that in mind. Let me move my head over here. Keep that in mind here because this is why I say make sure over here that you are putting these values in without fail, because you'll always be able to find something. If you get this not enough values, you'll know exactly why it's going on. Okay, so now I put this one in here. I had another row. I'm gonna run this one again, and we get this error. We saw it before, but this I'm talking about this time. It says unique constraint violated, and tells you the name of the constraint that was violated. So we know it's a unique constraint. If we want to make sure, we have to go back and look up this constraint and see what it's violating. But we know that the unique constraint here is on the rental location. So we cannot have 2 FLs or 2 UTs or 2 anything in this. So if we change that to something else, we can. Or we can simply run this command. This command just drops the constraint. and it's gone now. So if I tried to run this insert for Florida again, no problem. It goes in because the unique constraint has been dropped. Okay, we can. This is not something we want to do. The constraint needs to be there for a reason. I'm just kind of showing you that how easy it is to alter in a table. Okay, so let's now look at another error. I like making errors happen. Let me take this one here. And let's look at this query. Okay. We have an error. System value too large for column student my rentals rental location. So what we have Iowa. Okay. If we look here, back on our table creation statement, we were only allowing 2 characters in rental location. How do we fix that? Well, we could do the thing, or, which is the way we wouldn't do it, but just for funsies, you do this. We can modify the column, alter table my rentals, modify rental locations to bar chart to 100. And now, guess what? I can take this bad boy up here and run it. And now it doesn't care because their constraint is gone. Okay. Now, let's look at a couple other things here. The update statements, we have 2 of them here. Let's go ahead and just kind of show you how this works. We can update it just by saying, oops. Why did that happen? I spelled it wrong. Huh. Update table my rentals. I dropped the device. Still there. Okay. Okay, so let's go back over here. We want update table my rentals set created by equal 1 where rental location equals oh. Sorry about that. I don't mind you guys seeing me make stupid mistakes sometimes because it makes you feel better about yours. Because it's not update table, it's just update my rentals. We're not doing updating table. That's I was too busy writing alter tables and got confused about the whole thing. All right. So I can update a table that way. I can also do subqueries. You're going to get a little more complicated with your subquery. Okay. Update my rentals, set created by equal to select system user ID from system user where system username is DBA2. Okay. We can add columns. Here is added contact ID. I can add a constraint to a column, to a table on the fly. And if I try to insert I'm going to update the table here. So I'm going to update my rentals. I'm going to set the contact ID equal to 14,000, where rental location is UT. And I get an error. Integrity constraint, violated parent key not found, which means that value of 1400 does not exist in the table. So it'll fail. And I'm just trying to show you guys all these errors you're going to come across. Maybe you won't. Maybe you will. Probably will. I know I still get them a lot. So now instead, let me do this. Let me show you this query here. Update my rental. Let me clear my screen here. And let me copy this here. Update my rental, set contact ID equal to, select contact ID from contact, where last name equals Moss, where rent location equals UT. That worked just fine. And then I can drop everything. I can drop my constraints. And I can drop my column. So these are the tools that you will need. Stop sharing here. These are the tools that you will need in lesson 5, lab 5. Take your time. Be thoughtful. Be patient. Particularly on number 10. Number 10 is going to require you to make a 6-join select query. Those are always fun. And the key takeaways from this video are the errors that you'll see and how to easily troubleshoot them. Yeah, key violation, you've got string too long, you've got not enough rows, not enough data. So make sure that you're paying attention to those errors. If you get an error and can't figure it out, not a big deal. Submit the code as is. I will help you figure out how to fix the error, and you submit, and you get your points back. The syntax for creating a table. Make sure the not null constraints are in the row creation, in the column creation point, not at the bottom. You can add and drop. Constraints on the fly. So I think that sums up everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to do the quiz. And again, I appreciate the work everyone's put in. You're doing really, really good. I am available whenever you need me. Just shoot me a email through my email address or through the inbox in Canvas, and we can set up a time to go over whatever you need to go over. So take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next week.